Hey guys, welcome to my video. Like most people, I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's such a great show with great writing, and I can never get sick of it. Now when I heard Netflix was making a live-action version of it, I was actually pretty excited. Especially when I heard that the original creators were involved. Then I heard that the original creators dropped out, and that made me a little bit less than optimistic. But I still thought, as long as there are actual competent people behind it, how bad could it possibly be? I knew it had to be better than that thing in 2010 that I will not utter here.
My name is Ong.
For all these years, Netflix has finally released its first season, so I got myself a subscription to Netflix and gave it a watch. Now, when I watched the show, I quickly realized that Netflix wasn't trying to make a picture-perfect recreation of the original series. Which does make sense considering it's a series with only 8 episodes compared to the 20 episodes of the first season. Due to this, there'll be a lot of plot lines that will need to be condensed, combined, and even changed. Which begs the question, does it change it well? Starting off on the first 2 episodes, I'd say yes. While I do wish Aang's backstory was revealed later, like in the original show, I can't say it's done badly. One thing I'll say that the way information is gotten across isn't necessarily bad, it's just okay. In the original, when people would explain these backstories, there would often be visuals and even scenes to go with it. But in this version, there are many scenes where they just kind of talk about their backstory and it doesn't really go any further than that. No visuals, no nothing, just them talking about it.
I like to play airball and eat banana cakes and goof off with my friends. That's who I am.
But that isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I'll say that certain changes are legitimately good. For example, in the original show, Sokka was a little sexist. This created a character flaw, and Suki, a Kyoshi warrior, challenges his worldview and later they become a couple. In the new version, Sokka's sexism is completely gone. Which does take a little away, however, with this Sokka and Suki instantly become friends instead of them having the rivalry they originally had. And this results in a full-on kiss compared to the original where it was just a slight kiss on the cheek, and then it leaves a lot for later. I actually think this makes a lot of sense considering the change to their dynamic. It's pretty well done. Another cool addition is the origins of Zuko's crew. Both versions show that Zuko stood up for the people that the Fire Nation was going to send to basically their death. But in the Netflix version, they established that the men Zuko stood up for were punished by being part of his crew. That's actually a pretty cool addition. There is one change, however, that I think is legitimately bad. In the original, Aang overhears the monks talk about him being sent away. Out of fear, he runs away, which causes him to be caught in a storm and trapped in ice. In the new version, however, he just flies away to clear his head after Monkey Yatso talks about him being the Avatar. This takes away a lot of guilt, because a lot of people keep talking about how Aang disappeared, but he didn't even do it on purpose. Compared to the original, he really did do it on purpose, so he actually feels guilt for his actions when compared to the new one, which you don't really feel like it's his fault and that it could just happen to anybody. Even moments where they try to recreate moments from the original, it still comes off as really off.
It's important that you show no fear when you face a firebender. In the Water Tribe, we fight to the last man standing. For without courage, how can we call ourselves men?
I gotta pee.
We've been manning the wall in 3-hour shifts, but it seems some of you can't be trusted to stay at your posts. So from now on, 2 people at all times, meaning twice as many shifts. Is there a problem?
You can't keep us here. Let us leave.
Let us leave?
We're in serious trouble. This guy is nuts.
Let us leave.
Not as good, is it? Lastly, one character I think legitimately is not as good as the original, I'm actually very disappointed in it, is Zhao. In the original, Zhao was intimidating and does such a good job at making you hate him.
So I'll keep you alive, but just barely.
But in the new show, it just feels fake.
You'll live. Though not well.
I'd show you more clips, but I fear the copyright lords. They watch over us all. One of the main issues with the show is the fact that it's based on source material that's actually better. If you hadn't seen the original, you wouldn't really notice any of these issues. If I hadn't seen the original, I wouldn't notice them either. But sadly, the original does exist, and the original is better. And the issue is that this one, it's okay, but the original is great, and this just isn't that. And that's unfortunate.